is an absolute good. The list is life. All around its margins lies the gulf.
Schindler's List is often considered Steven Spielberg's greatest cinematic achievement amongst his enormous tenure of being an impressionable filmmaker. Setting the highest standard for supreme emotional storytelling, character development, and production, Schindler's List remains to this day a staple institution for schools to share with an effort to exhibit the horrors of the Holocaust. My goal in this video is to motivate you to see this brilliant film for yourself. Before I do though, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with any of your family members or friends who are interested in giving this movie a shot, because please trust me, it is absolutely worth it. Now, I imagine that you might be dissuaded to watch this movie because simply the whole film is made in black and white. I completely understand that. However, this unique attribute actually plays into the horrors of this time period quite beautifully, creating an atmosphere that truly takes you back in time. After watching this the many times over that I have, I honestly haven't even really noticed. You just get that lost into the film, and you can't even think about these outside forces that might possibly disrupt your enjoyment of this movie. In order to encourage you to give this movie a chance, I'm going to start with a non-spoiler synopsis of the story, then I'm going to move into a deep dive of the 5 major elements that make this film nearly perfect. Schindler's List is a true story of Oskar Schindler, a German businessman who arrives in Nazi-occupied Poland during World War II, seeking to profit from the war. He opens a factory that employs Jewish workers, initially set on taking advantage of their lower wages. One of his workers, Itzhak Perlman, a Jewish accountant, helps Schindler manage the business and develops a plan to save Jewish lives along the way. As the brutality of the Holocaust intensifies, Schindler finds himself increasingly involved in the fate of these employees. While initially focused on business, his growing awareness of the atrocities surrounding him begins to change the way he views the world. Set against the backdrop of the Holocaust, the film explores the human capacity for both cruelty and compassion, culminating in actions that would have lasting effects for the lives of many. Now that we've set the stage with the story, let's dive into how Spielberg masterfully brings the past to life with a rich historical context. In Schindler's List, the timeline of the Holocaust is depicted through key dates that anchor the story. The film opens in 1939 with a Nazi invasion of Poland, leading to the creation of the Krakow Ghetto. By 1941, Amon Goeth arrives as the brutal commandant of the Plaszow camp, and in 1942, the ghetto undergoes its first liquidation. The most pivotal moment comes in 1943, when Oskar Schindler creates his famous Schindler's List, saving over 1,100 Jewish lives. As depicted in the film, many of the horrifying deaths and tragedies are based on true events. Despite the setting being a bleak, depressing one, light still shines in the darkness though. Not only were Schindler and Itzhak Perlman's actions proven to be a sign of optimism, so too was a remarkable scene that viewers often wonder if it was true or not. Around halfway through the film, a rabbi is prepared for execution by SS officer Amon Goeth. Put on his knees for death, Amon's pistol jams after several attempts to fire into the man's head. After grabbing another revolver to finish the job, that weapon couldn't fire a single round. Out of frustration, his life was spared, marking an extreme rarity for an SS officer's choice of action, which serves as an encouraging miracle that perfectly contrasted the tragedy from all around. As the history unfolds, it is the unforgettable performances of the characters that truly elevate the film. Let's explore how these complex individuals leave a lasting impact.
A one-armed machinist, Oskar?
He was a metal press operator. Quite skilled.
Speaking in terms of captivating leading protagonists, the character of Oskar Schindler stands alone atop a mountain of lackluster leading men in film. This man is simply fascinating from start to finish. Towering in both his height and confidence, Schindler is a man driven by endless potential. A womanizing philanthropist more than anything else, he uses his greatest charismatic strengths to strike favor and influence across the spectrum of characters, both good and bad. Initially, he entered the story as an aspiring, money-hungry entrepreneur set strictly on taking advantage of the ongoing conflict stemmed from World War II. From the early beginnings of the Holocaust, he saw potential in employing a cornered workforce of Jewish laborers. Unlike the remaining institutions set on war profiteering and labor abuse, he treated his workers with dignity, respect, and hospitality. Over time, his heart grew larger for them by seeing firsthand the kindness and humanity from his Jewish workforce while simultaneously witnessing the evil uprising of hate and punishment for Jewish blood. This transformation from money-hungry businessman to selfless lifesaver beautifully unraveled amongst the backdrop of darkening despair. In terms of the performance alone, this is undoubtedly Neeson's greatest. He displays gravitas, confidence, and showmanship to a whole new level unseen before.
This is gold. Two more people. You would have given me two for it. At least one. You would have given me one. One more. One more person.
Another equally important character of the story, Itzhak Stern, played by Ben Kingsley, perfectly complements Schindler's flamboyant persona in a whole different fashion. A once successful Jewish accountant, Stern is sought out by Schindler to run his enamelware company for him behind the scenes. Initially posing as a quiet, secluded mathematician, he quickly finds purpose by seeking out inessential Jewish men, women, and children to employ for Schindler. Stern is a heartwarming, soft-spoken, compassionate character that offers incredible insight and perspective in reaction to the worsening circumstances. Like Neeson, Ben Kingsley's performance cannot be underscored. A soft-spoken yet precise wordsmith, Kingsley's emotional responses lead to tear-jerking exchanges that will stick with you forever. His presence alone in every scene lightens the tension as exhibited by his delicacy and humane love for others. This quality is also beautifully shared through the ensemble of Jewish characters throughout the film. Whether we are following Helen Hirsch's horrifying experience as a personal handmaiden to an SS officer, or taking along Rabbi Menashe's endangering mistreatment amongst the labor camps, audiences are sucked into the ongoing conflict through these and many other fascinating characters. On the complete opposite side of the story, Ralph Fiennes delivers a horrifying performance as an unpredictable SS officer of the Nazi army. Going by the name of Amon, his character is uninhibitedly driven by hate, yet offers a perspective which searches to justify his means on the premise of moral virtue. At times softened by his friend Oskar Schindler's show of compassion, he nevertheless wields his power ferociously against his victims. His deadpan, unemotional response for the death and pain he inflicts rivals Schindler's efforts to care quite well. But of course, no discussion of Schindler's List would be complete without acknowledging the soul-stirring score by John Williams, which elevates the emotional experience to a whole nother level. If you are familiar with Spielberg's work, then you are quick to realize that John Williams is always an impressionable composer, which goes to shape the tone of each of his films. To my utter amazement, this score stands alone against his phenomenal collection of work. I don't even believe his Star Wars compositions match what he accomplished with Schindler's List, and that is saying a lot. Partnering with world-class violinist Itzhak Perlman, the soundtrack gratifies the deepest darks and lightest joys that the film strives to accentuate. Much of this overwhelming emotional performance comes from Itzhak Perlman's violin. Losing many of his older family members to the Holocaust many years prior, he put all of his heart and soul into his work. After rewatching the film 6 times over, I've carefully noticed the depth that each song has on accentuating the tension, suspense, horror, or inspiration in every given scene. It alone brings a tear to my eye as a standalone work of art. This minimalist approach reflects the somber nature of the story, and the use of silence in many moments of the film contrasts with the music, emphasizing the emotional weight of the events on screen. It is simply a symphony that ties your heart into knots and continues to spool and unspool it along this emotional roller coaster full of incredible highs and lows. Beyond the music, the real heart of the film lies in the raw emotion it evokes. Now let's talk about the deeply inspiring moments that make this film resonate long after it ends. Unlike many films that wishfully try to inspire and fail, Schindler's List delivers every time. The film offers a plethora of normal, everyday characters existing from varying backgrounds who go on to inspire and make a difference in life. Oskar Schindler, clearly standing out as the most prominent of the lot, found a way to use his greatest gifts and strengths as a tool to make a difference. His transformation showed that God can work wonders through anyone, no matter how far they have fallen from his path. Schindler, an unfaithful man to his wife, later turned away from his adulterous ways to settle with the woman he is wed to be with. At the same time, first set on using the war as a circumstance for selfish purposes, he shifted his resources and focus towards a fashion of selflessness and generosity. He used his riches and influence to help people. Itzhak did the same, as did the rabbi and countless other characters. The film made a subtle effort to gracefully remind its viewers that even simple off-sided compliments can make a life-changing difference in another person's life. A scene that continues to stick out to me regarding this concept is Schindler's encounter with Helen Hirsch, the SS officer Amon's handmaiden. After undergoing serious mistreatment and abuse from Amon, she lost much passion for life and carried herself lowly. Schindler, after undergoing a motivating transformation himself, offered her solace and comfort to a degree that she had not seen before. When all hope appeared to be lost in her life, he comforted her with a compassionate understanding for her feelings and went on to ensure her safety. This ongoing theme gave this story immense value that has been presently lacking from major Hollywood creatives. Lastly, to conclude, while the emotional and musical elements shine, the visual storytelling in Schindler's List is just as striking. Let's take a look at how the cinematography makes this film a visual masterpiece. In terms of appearance, I must say that despite the film being colorless black and white, you don't really notice the difference when you get into it. In fact, the beautiful blacks, grays, and whites only seem to improve the depth. Cinematographer Janis Kaminski expertly brings to life the emotional depth and weight of every performance shown on screen. Driven to accentuate the defining facial features and emotional responses from the ongoing cast of characters, the audience is left entranced by its authenticity. As the story progresses to reflect an increasingly menacing situation, so too does the atmosphere darken and grow grim itself. While Schindler's Haven is lit with bright lights and hope, it is contrasted by an evil on the other side of the aisle. The despair-ridden labor camps are horrifyingly portrayed as haunting asylums straight from the depths of your worst nightmares. These landscapes are picturesque, sharing the qualities of fine art themselves. In total, all of these elements lend toward a nearly flawless ensemble of movie magic that will surely spark tears out of your very own eyes. Now, when you do decide to watch Schindler's List yourself or maybe revisit it, be sure to fast forward through some of the scenes because this movie gets a little inappropriate at times. Something I like to use is VidAngel. They don't sponsor me at all, but it automatically skips naughty scenes, inappropriate scenes, whatever you want. So that's what I use, and it just makes things stress-free for me. I don't have to worry about it. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. But you definitely need to watch this movie. It's worth your time. It's a beautiful story, and it's being taught in educational institutions. I mean, schools are still showing this movie, which is quite powerful, and it's motivating. So if you enjoyed what I had to say today, though, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your friends and family, so if they're interested in checking out the movie themselves or maybe revisit it. Also, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Schindler's List. Do you believe that this is Steven Spielberg's best film? I think it is, hands down. I don't know what possibly counters this. So let me know if you have a debate. Let's talk in the comments. But as always, I appreciate the time you spent with me. I wish you well, and I'll see you soon.